A year from now, you will be heading into your fieldwork assignments. This lecture will describe fieldwork and occupational therapy, who the players are, and your responsibility. There is a quote out there from an unknown author: "School ends, but education doesn't." This is so true in our profession. The overall purpose of fieldwork is to gain mastery of occupational therapy, clinical reasoning, and techniques to develop entry-level competency. Entry-level competency is what a student learns to pass their exam and to get a position with a company. This doesn't mean you know everything. There is to know and have all the skills needed to treat every type of diagnosis. It's just the beginning stages. Fieldwork 1. Fieldwork 1 is your first experience with observing patients and occupational therapy. You are currently doing this in your psychosocial class and will do this again next semester when you learn about patients with physical disability deficits. Fieldwork 1 gives you a practical experience that are integrated throughout the academic program. Directed observation and participation in selective aspects of the OT process will happen. Opportunity for students to examine reactions to clients, systems of service delivery, related personnel, and potential roles within the profession. The amount of time of the format varies for each academic program. For our program, it's 40 hours for psychosocial and then 40 hours for physical disabilities. You also have hours to complete in the pediatric semester. You may develop different feelings about each of the settings, which may help you decide which path you would like to take when you graduate. Fieldwork 2 will be the first time you will get to actually treat a patient. The purpose of this is to give the occupational therapy assistant student an in-depth experience in providing occupational therapy services and to develop and expand a repertoire of occupational therapy practice. OT students are required to complete 6 months or 960 hours. You as OTA students are required to complete 16 weeks or 640 hours. This is done in the last semester with us. Fieldwork 2 is a non-paid position and will be done during the day hours. You need to be thinking now how you'll be able to be off work if you are currently working and still complete your Fieldwork 2. You may need to think about loans, saving your pennies, and scholarships. It's never too early to apply for scholarships. You will also need to talk with your boss to see if there are alternative hours you can work and do your Fieldwork 2 at the same time. Basically, Fieldwork 2 is a full-time job. There are different roles and responsibilities that distinguish the different players who are involved in fieldwork. The first is your academic fieldwork coordinator. Currently, this is Lynette. Faculty member This is a faculty member at the educational program who is responsible for monitoring fieldwork experiences. The next is your fieldwork educator. This person is the one who is at the facility. Must have at least 1 year of work experience following initial certification. Administrative responsibilities such as scheduling fieldwork students and keeping information current, and doing the day-to-day supervision. This is the person you're going to be reporting to out in Fieldwork 2. The fieldwork educator's responsibility is to assure open communication and supervision for the student. Assures that the student receives an orientation to the facility. This is extremely important. You need to learn simple things like, where do I put my lunch? Where can I put my coat? Where is the supplies for the department? Assures that the student receives written fieldwork performance objectives, expectations, and timelines. During the first week, sit down with your fieldwork educator and ask, what are the weekly objectives for fieldwork for myself so I know what I need to achieve. Provide the student with experience with individual of varying ages, deficits, and delivery models. If you are in a facility that does pediatrics and adults, excuse me, then Ask, can I go and work with some kids at the same time, work with some adults? If you're in a facility such as UC Davis Hospital, they have various floors. They have a burn unit. If that's something that interests you, mention it to your fieldwork educator. You can maybe do some observation or go up there for a day or two, just to see what it's like. The more experience you can get, the better idea you'll have of where you want to be and what kind of professional you would like to be. Be familiar with the schools and facilities' respective responsibilities and maintain communication with the school. That is the responsibility of the fieldwork educator. Your responsibility as a student is to collaborate with the fieldwork educator and academic fieldwork coordinator to ensure compliance with fieldwork experience requirements. One of the biggest things you're important is to make sure you get everything into Lynette, your TB test, your if there's a physical, any paperwork in, so that she can set up your fieldwork to experience, and not have to wait until that stuff is in. Demonstrate sensitivity to and respect for client confidentiality. It's all about HIPAA. You cannot go home and talk to your family about this patient and giving out personal information about clients. HIPAA's, if you breach confidentiality, it could definitely be a slap on the wrist for you. Establish and maintain therapeutic relationships and work collaboratively with others on the team. Transitioning from a student to a professional can be a huge life-changing experience. You are changing from one structure, role, and sense of self to another, meaning there are no more syllabus or teachers letting you know when things are due or what to specifically do with the patient. You will need to rely on your knowledge and also learn where your resources are to continue learning, expanding your skill sets. Assimilation of new life role can cause disequilibrium, meaning you will feel off balance. And when you leave this program, you will feel like, I have not learned enough to be on my own. This feeling can be overwhelming, but no worries, you will do great. And remember, disequilibrium equals opportunity for growth. The distinction between academic and fieldwork settings. In the academic setting, students are accountable to themselves. Performance is evaluated through tests, assignments, and grades. Students' performance usually does not affect others unless you're doing group projects, but for the most part, it's on you. In the fieldwork setting, performance is observed by the entire healthcare team. Performance has direct and critical consequences for the client. Fieldwork supervisors' primary responsibility is client care, and this may place constraints on what the student is allowed to do. If they feel that you are not ready to take on a certain client, they won't put you on that particular client. They may have you co-treat that client instead. The students is accountable to the client and significant others, the supervisor, and the fieldwork center. So in summary, fieldwork is the place to experience and learn skills to make you professional clinician. Take it all in and enjoy the experience. Ask questions and don't be afraid to bring up new ideas to your fieldwork educator. You never know, you might teach them something.